So logistics is important in business. Why? Because it touches on things like supply chain, production, and delivery, all of which determine how much you're going to make. In this video, we practically look at techniques that can be applied to planning and control in logistics management. So whether you have a logistics management business or you work in an organization and a department that deals with that, you still need to understand a bunch of things about logistics. In this case, we're talking about understanding the difference between planning and control, achieving balance between planning and control, responding to demand, loading, sequencing, and scheduling. And since there's a theory about that, in this case, we're looking at it from a practical angle. Now, before you start, two things, okay? One, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, help us grow the channel, won't cost you anything. Number two, there's a PDF, okay? A PDF summary that gives you 19 businesses ideas, okay? That you can start in logistics. And they're broken down into things like startup cost, complexity, market, how easy it is to enter into the market or not. So download that one. Now let's continue. Let's assume you're running a third-party logistics company that handles warehousing and last-mile delivery for fashion and consumer electronics brand. 3PL is one of those businesses that we talk about, okay? That we've talked about as something that you can start. And in this case, by the way, this video is just a case study. So that is something you can think of. The idea here is you can be fulfilling orders on behalf of businesses that probably sell things online or whatever it is. Third-party logistics company. DHL is an example of that. FedEx is an example of that. So Fargo. Anyway, look, that's the thing, right? So just if you're going to start a business, that's an example. I mean, I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying this is an example. Anyway, let's continue. In this case, some of these companies don't just handle transport logistics. They handle all the distributions, warehousing, fulfillment, and shipping aspects of online sales. So yeah, that's just reaffirming what you've said. Now back to our example. In this case, the holiday season is approaching. Okay, so Christmas, Black Friday, and clients expect a surge in orders. So the idea here is you're going to look at, the holiday is coming up, right? How do we apply planning and controlling effectively, okay, in this business? Okay, our business, there is a third-party logistics company that is supposed to help our client who will have issues since the holidays are approaching, and therefore there's going to be surges in demand and things of that nature. Right, let's start with the difference between planning and control. So planning refers to the development of the sequence of activities that have to be accomplished over a given period of time. And the given period of time in this case is the festive, okay, or the Black Friday, whatever it is, right? So in this case, let's just go with one of those ones, which means demand forecasting. So using past sales data plus market trends to predict holiday demands. For example, we could expect 40% increase in smartphone sales based on last year's trends. And then we have our warehouses, which in this case, our warehouse has to be ready. And that could mean things like either expanding or even hiring extra staff. So that's part of planning, right? Okay, so we could either have more room or we could just have more staff, to pick things and that. Carrier contracts, so we pre-book shipping capacity. In this case, just use FedEx and DHL to avoid last-minute price surges. Then stock positioning, okay, we move high demand inventory closer to last mile delivery hubs. So all these activities are things you are doing before time. They're part of our pre-season planning. But then where does control come in? Because you see, plan things could go wrong and then control steps in. So what about control? Control activities are the actions undertaken by organizations to bring a plan back on track. And in our business example, so in this case, that could mean using real-time dashboards to monitor delays and reroute shipment. For example, a truck breaks down, triggers an automatic switch to a backup carrier. Adding night shifts when order backing exceeds capacity, automated alerts for stockouts, prompting emergency supply orders. Let's put that one into practice. And to understand that, let's assume that last year, our client A, their order was 15,000. Okay? So the fashion brand, whatever. Remember, you're dealing with technology and fashion. Those are our clients. So the fashion side, they ordered 15,000, right? Which means this year, we are planning for 20,000. That's the assumption you're making, okay? Maybe they've had extra 5,000 clients, so 20,000. Now, on day one of the promotion, order spiked to 25,000. In that case, remember we are planning for 20,000, so but the order's gone to 25, right? So in this case, control kicks in. We enable overtime shifts, pool reserve staff, and prioritize express order. So remember, all this is just a practical way of ensuring that you're in a position to analyze techniques that can be applied to planning and control in logistics management. And since now you know how planning and control works based on that simple example, you still need to know three more things. You still need to know how to achieve balance between planning and control, how to respond to demands, and issues regarding loading, sequencing, and scheduling. So all this is just a small part of a tutorial, like 6, 7, 8 hour plus tutorial on logistics management, the academic aspect of it, the theory part of it, and the practical part of it that is designed to help you start your logistics business or to manage one that already exists there. That is in relation to, in addition to like somebody who's just taking it for exam scenario, like the guys who are doing L5, M10 for their CIPS exams. So in that course, which you should check out, you're going to be in a position to understand the concept of logistics management. And that means you'll be in a position to understand things like the role and activities of logistics management, the concept of integrated logistics, evaluate aspects of competitive advantage that can be achieved through logistics management, as well as the use of technology in logistics management. You, will also get, in addition to that, you'll also get to understand capacity planning and control in logistics management. And that means you'll be in a position to analyze techniques that can be applied to planning and control in logistics management, explain techniques that can be applied to capacity management, as well as analyze the use of reverse logistics. We look at that, in the course, both practical and the theoretical aspect. So just make sure that you download the 19 business ideas PDF, that is attached to this video. And in so doing, it will be sent to your email. You'll also be added to a list of people who will be notified when the thing is out. So get your PDF, make sure you do that. Achieving balance between planning and controlling is the next thing that we need to understand in our business scenario. Planning and control, these are important part of organization's activities, but you can't plan for every possible scenario. The key is to build flexible plan. So a simple way to achieve this balance in our third-party logistics business or our 3PL company is, so in terms of planning, we can pre-stock best sellers. But then control, that means real-time inventory alerts for low stock. Again, we can pre-negotiate shipping rates, but then dynamic carrier switching for delays will act as control. Training seasonal staff, but then adjusting shift based on workload. So practically this could be something like planning to use 3 vans, per route. So that could be our plan. Control kicks in when volume surges. A dynamic routing system identifies excess volume and bring in 2 backup vans stored nearby. So yeah, that's a thing. You plan for that one, but then you have a backup. Then again, this is just a simplified way of looking at things because we're just looking at this from a practical studies. In reality, when talking about operations management in this case, we're going to be dealing with things like materials, methods, routing, estimating, scheduling, delivery, customer care. All those are theoretical stuff that you need to understand when you're dealing with planning because you're going to be planning for those things. But since this is just a business case study, or a simplified way of understanding how these things work in business, you're just assuming that, we are dealing with fashion or we're dealing with electronics. That's it. But then there are many other things that you need to worry about, So, and as you continue, if there is any question you ask. Now, number 3, responding to demand. And the simple economics of demand, that's something that you need to understand. Supply, demand. Seller side of things, supply. Buyer side of things, demand, So, as a buyer, you are playing the demand side of things. As a seller, the supply side of things. In our business case here, holiday demand is volatile, driven by marketing, promotions, and consumer trends. So if you poorly respond to these, so in this business, in fact, in any business, if you poorly respond to that, then you're going to be dealing with things like stockouts, delayed delivery, or just mismatched orders. So the question then becomes, how exactly do you respond to that? Our response to this could be real-time demand monitoring, which means connecting to client's Shopify or ERP system for order feed syncing, setting up automated alerts when daily order volumes exceed thresholds, having safety stock, that's another one. In this case, encouraging clients to send 20% more stock than forecast before the sales. For example, keeping extra stock of top selling items, e.g. AirPods or smartwatches. So the question then at this point becomes, how does that look like in practice? Because you're just saying, okay, we could do this. So what does doing that actually look like from a practical angle? And that could look like this. Client B runs a flash sale on smartwatches. The order surges up to 300% in a day. Our warehouse management system recognizes the spike and automatically assigns extra picking lanes and shifts labor to that section. WMS, the warehouse management system, that's another business idea. I mean, we've already talked about it. It's in the PDF that you can download. That's another example of something that you can get involved in. And I said, just because you're not a programmer, or if you're not a programmer, doesn't mean you can't be in the software market. I mean, you are the business intelligence guy. The other guy is the coding guy. You can collaborate, have that thing out, and then sell it, okay? Or hire it out, whatever it is. The business model, that will just come down to what you're looking for. Manufacturing strategies used by our clients can also help us to determine how to respond to demand. And in this case, remember, we are just a fulfillment, okay? We are a third-party logistics company. But then the way we react to some of these things that the client has done will depend on their manufacturing strategy. And in this case, the manufacturing strategies, 4 of them, we don't know which one they are using. Obviously, we'll know if you're in business with them. But for the sake of education, there are 4. And this could be make to stock, assemble to order, make to order, or engineer to order. So there's an entire video just taking care of that, okay? You'll see it, or you've probably already seen it. Now, number 4, loading, sequencing, and schedule. And this is the last part. This one just comes down to execution, which means looking at things like when should a specific task be accomplished, what quantity should be produced, in what sequence should the task be accomplished, are things going as planned. And since you're dealing with a holiday, festive, whatever, everything that you're going to be doing here, well, most of the things that you're going to be doing here are just going to be outbound logistics, okay? Remember, there is inbound logistics, things coming in, and then there is outbound logistics. Yes, we'll still have inbound logistics because we need to get things to the warehouse, but a huge part of our task will be getting those things to the customers. And that will mean loading, so ensuring we maximize van load capacity, prioritize fragile electronics with custom inserts and bottom-up stacking. And then under sequencing, we have zone picking by agency. Okay, in this case, we prioritize express and next day orders. Route-based sequencing, that is pick by route. So all package for route A are grouped and loaded first. Regarding scheduling, allocate early morning slots to time-sensitive deliveries, e.g. office parcels, or use automated routing to sequence deliveries based on traffic, distance, and delivery window. Which means a typical day's activity, okay, will look something like this. At 4 a.m., WMS schedules loading of vans for premium clients first. Drivers get optimized routes on their handheld app. Each driver gets a digital checklist and loads package in reverse order of delivery. That is last in, first out. So yeah, that's something you need to understand. They all last in, first out, first in, first out. It's just one of those things you need to know as far as logistics is concerned. It's something that we already covered, okay? Now, to sum this up, okay? Planning is not the same as control. Meaning what? Meaning planning is before the season, so in this case, forecasting, contracts, staffing, while control is during the season. There's real-time tracking and adjustment. And number 2, balance is crucial, okay? Balancing in this case is important, which means use predictive analytics and real-time monitoring to stay agile. The other thing is that demand response is equal to flexibility. That is something that you need to understand, okay? You just can't be rigid. You're going to have to allow rooms for flexibility. So things like safety stock, just-in-time, and promotions help manage unpredictability. And finally, efficient loading and scheduling saves cost. And if you have any question, you ask. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, kindly do. Make sure you get the PDF, okay? Download that one. And the 19 business ideas that you can start in logistics. I mean, there are many. This one just says 19. There are going to be several other PDFs that you can also get. I mean, resources, right? So yeah, see you in the next video.